Next year's almost here. Are you sitting there confused about all the choices in business that you could get into, but you know, it kind of keeps you held back, like I don't want to choose the wrong thing? Well, listen up, because I'm going to explain a very simple way of making that choice and getting started. This is Jason Kanigan, President of Sales on Fire. We're going to talk about next year. Planning ahead. This is the end of the year when I'm shooting this video. I've made over 90 of these sales tactics videos this year, and they're available in packs on salestactics.org. There's a free pack you can get and see if this is for you. So looking ahead into next year, I don't know about you, but I sat down and I went, I want to do things a little bit differently this coming year than I have in the past. And I've got like 6 or 7 choices at least of stuff that I could do that I have a pretty good sense that I could succeed with, right? And so I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to put effort into something that it just doesn't even necessarily turn out, but maybe I discover I don't even like it, or it doesn't get the results that I want it to. And I'm not just talking money here. I'm talking about like how you live your life. You know, it could be changing your entire business model that we're talking about here. So how can you swiftly and easily make that choice and feel good about what you've done, right? And move forward from that? Well, do what I did, which was to make what's called a criteria of evaluation, or a decision matrix, okay? And what that is you can make one in an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll take you like 5 minutes. It's not much, okay? You list the things that you want to do down the side, okay? Up and down in a column. And then in the rows across, list a few features, okay? Like, these were the ones that I chose, okay? How easy is this going to be for me to implement? Okay? Do I already have like the knowledge to do it, right? Or, you know, am I going to have to go learn a ton of things, right? The second one was, how hard is this going to be to implement? And that's kind of different from how easy is it going to be, because this is about like, am I going to have to learn a bunch of stuff? Am I going to have to go make a bunch of web pages or something like that, right? Am I going to learn how to use some new tools? Like, how much effort is this going to take just to get going, to get revved up on the thing, okay? And we're putting a number in these cells between 1 and 5. You could be any number or any range or whatever, but this is the easiest way that I can think of to do it. 1 being this is going to be super easy, and 5 being this is going to be a lot of work, okay? So if I thought that more coaching calls, for example, was one of the options that I had, it's been a good thing for me, it's easy for me to do, so that gets a 1 in the how easy is this column, okay? In the how hard is this to implement column, it gets like a 2. It's not really a whole lot different from what I'm doing already, right? I might just have to step up some activity levels or find new distribution channels to reach out to people who've never heard of me. Our third column is, what's the chance of success here, okay, with this thing, like in the next 6 months? What is my gut feeling that I'm going to win or lose on this thing, okay? And this is, again, a little bit different than how easily can I do it, because I could do something easily and lose, right? You know, or not feel I have a very good chance of succeeding with it. So again, 1 to 5. 1 being, yeah, this is a winner, like it's easy, puck in the net, you know, kind of thing, and I'm gonna have an easy time with it. 5 is, I don't know, I'm probably not gonna succeed with this, at least in that short period, okay? So our fourth column is, what level of change can I expect that this will bring to my lifestyle? And again, this doesn't mean having zillions of dollars. It means like, what do you do every day, okay? So for me, like a standard day involves a lot of marketing, a lot of being at the computer, a lot of talking to people, talking on the phone, you know, and maybe I don't want to do so much of that. Maybe I want to step back and do more passive stuff, right? So a better lifestyle for me, that would be a 1 in this scoring, right? Might be one in which it's not so labor intensive, right? I'm not trading time for dollars so much. There's more automation going on in how I make my money. That would be cool, right? And a 5 would be things are pretty much going to plod along the way they did before, which is again the problem with doing more coaching calls, right? I'm just, yeah, I'm making more money, but I'm doing more of the same, right? And so that would get a 4 or 5, okay? So we're going to do that for each one of these options down the row, and then across the columns for that particular thing, you can just do a sum total, okay? On the right hand side, just sum. right? Add up all those numbers, and that will give you a total. Now, what we're looking for here is the golf score. We want this number to be as low as possible, right? And we could do an average or whatever, you know, but as low as possible. So the highest score here would be if we had 4 things in our decision matrix, 4 features that we were checking on. The highest score would be 5 times 4, which is 20, right? And the lowest score possible would be a 4, right? So we're looking for options that come out as close to 4 as possible. And this helps you easily, swiftly rank what you're going to do. Because if a thing comes out at 18, well, there's some problems with it, aren't there? Right away. Like, even though it may kind of sound like a good idea to you, there's clearly an issue in there, right? It's too hard, it's labor intensive to set up, and maybe you don't really believe that it's going to succeed for you, right? And this enables you, this process enables you to discover that, right? Whereas if you get something that's like an 8, in comparison to everything else that's like 15 or something like that and higher, wow, that's the clear winner, isn't it, right? It doesn't look too hard to implement. You believe you're going to succeed. Your chance of success is good, right? And it's not going to be a lot of hard work in the sense to really get over that hump and get this thing going. So this is a very straightforward way to use your own feelings, right? We're quantifying feelings here, right? And that's good, you know, and take that sense or impression that you have and identify some things, right? Like, you could look at an option and see that there's a 5 in there for you on the hardness scale of implementing the thing, right? Like, is that because you don't know anything about that particular field? I mean, on my list there was one thing that looked, it came out good in the score, but identified alarm ringing that I don't know much about that field. There were terms I had to learn, technical terms. There was software I had to learn. There were distribution channels I had to identify. I didn't know any of these things, and so I started watching videos about it in order to build up the idea of success and how I was going to succeed with this in my brain, okay? I already knew I had like 60-70% of the stuff that I needed to succeed in that field, and I needed the other 30-40%, okay? And so how am I going to get that, right? But as far as ease of implementation, the stuff more or less is pretty straightforward, right? It's just some effort to learn these new tools and terminology and get them into action. But you know, looking at it and going, well, gee, if I don't make money on it for 6 months and I still learn the skills and start making money maybe at the end of that time, that's still a win for me, because I'm already making money doing what I was already doing, you see, right? So this system will enable you to get a quantifiable, clear, visual idea. It's written down, right, in the spreadsheet, and that's where power starts to come from, is writing things down, not having it in airy-fairy fantasy land up in your brain. Get it down, and then you can see it on paper, or because you could do this manually, right? You could do it on a regular sheet of paper. I like the spreadsheet because it's automated and you can save it and you don't lose the paper and that kind of thing, right? But I'm looking at it right now. I got it over there on my screen, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. 2 of them came up really high, a third one was close, and the other 3 were surprisingly lower down, and including one of the ones that I have a skill for, I have a lot of experience in, and it would create a big change in my life because it's a high-ticket thing if I went and got customers for it and that. But the difficulty of implementing it, because the projects are so long and so intense, means that I wouldn't have time to really do anything else, right? And that's a huge weakness for that, right? And I really have to think, do I want to be that guy? Not really. Okay, so again, that's what drives it down to the bottom of the list, and I can see that. This is Jason Kanigan from Sales on Fire. Have a great holiday season and New Year's, and we'll see you. Well, I might make another video or 2 before the end of the year, so keep watching.